Alright guys, this is what you're going to need for the Swisher Homestead salsa. Now I like my salsa spicy. You don't have to have it spicy. You can have it any way you want it. So let's get started. So you're going to need 2 onions, cilantro, 9 tomatoes, Romas, that'd probably be your best bet to use, some limes, a garlic, 1 red onion, and 1 gigantic jalapeno. Alright, so we got that. Now, for your seasoning, what you're going to need, and this is as simple can get for you. So your seasoning, what you're going to need, is you're going to need a half of a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of cayenne, 1 heaping teaspoon of chili powder, and a teaspoon of salt. Now the salt looks like there's a lot more, but it kind of spread out when I put it in here. I did this so you'd be able to see it a lot clearer than having it down here. Alright, so let's get going on making us some homemade salsa. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to cut the outer skin off of the Roma tomatoes. You're not going to discard this. This is a cider tomato. You're going to add this, and this is what's going to make it a little bit wetter and not as dry or compact in a sense. And of course, I could use these, but I give them to the chickens. Chickens got to get a treat too. Alright. So I'm going to go through and get all the tomatoes done, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so we got the tomatoes decored. The cords are over here, outer edges are here. Now what you're going to really need, and this is vital importance, you're either going to need a blender or a food processor. Yes, I have a food processor on the homestead. Of course, I'm a chef, so I better have something. So what we're going to do is we're only going to add half of the cords to the food processor, okay? Only half, because you don't want it to get too runny and then have it like a soup. But you could always make a cold tomato soup, a vichyssoise. So we're going to go ahead and put this in there, get this done, and then we're going to start on the next thing. Now always remember, I always say this, cleanliness is next to godliness. So take a paper towel or something, wipe up your mess. Not like it's going to hurt anything, but I just like it to be clean when I work. Alright, so we're going to clean that up right like that. And then we're going to come over and we're going to do the garlic. Now, because these garlics are so small, I am using 5. You should probably only use 2 to 3 possible, but these are pretty small, so I use 5. And I also cut the ends off of them. So what I'm going to do is once I cut the ends off, now if you're wondering what I'm talking about is the end, I'm talking about the end of the garlic right here. Then what I'll do is I'll lay that down, I'll put my knife on it, and I'll tap it real light. Just like that, and the shell should come off like butter. Like that. Very simple, very easy. Now, I'm going to do all these, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I got the garlic peeled, it's done. We're going to also throw that into the food processor. Right like this, don't cut them up, don't have to do nothing. Then we're going to do the next thing, which is our red onion. And I'll show you guys, you know, how I do it, how I cut it. Take it, cut the top part off. Then I lay it down on an angle, I cut through the back side, and there it is. Easy as peasy. Now, the nice plus about making salsa is you don't have to do dicing or any of that. You're going to let your food processor do all the work. You just want to make sure that when you're doing it, that you don't over pulsate it. You want to leave it a little chunky. You want to have some flavor, some texture to it. You don't want it to be like soup. Again, we're on the soup basis again. So I'm going to show you how to cut these up. Right? I normally make 3 slices to 4 slices, depending on how big the onion is. And then, boom, done. That's simple, easy. We'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're done. Now we're going to take these and we're going to throw these in with our tomatoes, our garlic. And we'll have that. So that's in there. Now we'll go on to the next step. Now this is fresh salsa. This is the easiest thing you can make. Now I like spicy. And I'm the one that pretty much going to be the only one eating the salsa because Amy, she's not too hip on the spice thing. But because I know she's going to want to have some tonight. And I know she will. She says, no, I won't, but she will. She'll want some tonight. She'll try it and she'll be like, oh my God, that's such homemade salsa is so better than the store-bought stuff. And I like when you make it. Okay. So we're going to take the seeds out. Whatever you do, don't touch your eyes. Don't go to the bathroom. Wash your hands. Trust me. As a chef, you know these things. Don't ask why. Alright. Now you can give your chickens this. They'll eat that. They love jalapenos. I fed them so many jalapenos last year. All the ones that we had when a couple of our plants got hurt real bad and when we were gone, I took all those jalapenos off, gave them to the chickens, and the chickens just loved it. Alright, so now we got our jalapenos. Now we're going to take those jalapenos and we're going to put those jalapenos in here also. Alright? Now we got our seasoning. Okay? So we set this down. We're going to set this down. Right? And we're going to add our seasoning. Alright. So we got our seasoning in there now also. Now we're going to move over to the next part. Cilantro. Alright, so a lot of people don't like cilantro. They don't like cilantro because some people say it has like a soapy taste to it. Well guys, don't give up on the cilantro. Keep trying it. Eventually, believe it or not, your taste buds will start improving on the cilantro. When I first tried it, when I was a chef young, I was like, it's like eating a bar of soap. Who wants to eat a bar of soap? But I've learned through the years, it grows on you. And when it grows on you, you end up liking it more and more and more. And let me tell you, this will grow on you. All right, now cilantro is pretty strong in salsa, so you don't want to overdo it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take probably about, I don't know, 10 sprigs of the cilantro. Just like this. We're going to break them off. All right? Throw that into the food processor. There's no reason for you to have take all the leaves off. Now we got another recipe coming up that we're going to do is going to be our tacos. And, you know, when I make my pico de gallo or I'm making my toppings for my tacos, I will take all this off the stems. And there's some pretty cool tricks I can show you that'll make this easier for you if you want to take time to do it. If not, I just do it with my hand. I've gotten showed a million tricks on ways to do this. So we'll throw that in there. Now we're going to go over to our limes. Now you need 2 limes. Alright? So there's 1 lime, and we're going to squirt this in our salsa. This is going to give the acidity to the salsa. And we're going to push this over, and we're going to squeeze our limes in there. I mean, this is pretty much, if you go to Mexico City, or Mexico in general, this is pretty much what you're going to get for a salsa. A lot of times, you know, they'll do it a little bit finer. They won't leave it as chunky. It is really, really good having it like this. Put a spoon in this and turn it, and it'll juice the lime a lot easier. But me, why dirty the dish? I don't have a restaurant. I don't have a dish. Well, I have a dishwasher. It's Miss Amy, but, you know, that goes to say. And I'm sure she probably appreciates it when she doesn't have a lot of dishes. So we're going to go ahead and get this all squeezed in there. Like I said, if you can't do it, grab a spoon and use a spoon to do it. Just stick the contour of the spoon in, hold it, twist it back and forth, move it around, and boom, you're done. I don't mind doing it this way. It doesn't bother me. Now remember, we're saving those cores that are there for in case we need to get a little bit more runnier. I don't think we're going to need to, but you never know. So, let's get this done. All right. All right, so when you're done with these, an idea of something you can do with these, get yourself a glass of water. Throw it in with your glass of water. Don't throw it out and waste it. You can still get that flavoring in the water, so that way you're not wasting product or not wasting the stuff that you have. Now we're going to work on the last key item, which is these green shallot onions. And you can give the ends to the chickens because it won't hurt them. Alright, we'll cut the tops of these off. We'll give those to the chickens, and the rest of this is going to go into the sauce. So now I've worked many years cutting vegetables, you know, and because as much as I have, this is pretty simple. It's like a walk in the park for me. Some of you, take your time. You need these digits. Don't lose your digits. Not worth it. It's just salsa. But boy, when this salsa is done, it's going to make some great, tasty salsa. Alright. So there you go. Everything's done with the salsa. Now let's move on to the food processor. Alright guys, so we got our salsa inside of our crock pot. Look at that lighting. Doesn't that look good? I think it looks awesome. So we're going to attach the top. Lock it in place. And then we're going to pulsate it. Now, I do want to state this. If you guys are going to use a blender, cut your vegetables up a little bit smaller. Okay? If you're going to use a food processor, you can keep it pretty big. This is a really good food processor. I've been using it for years. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pulsate it. So you ready? Oh, looks like I got a little part there stuck onto the side of the rim. There we go. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to take a spoon and we're going to taste it. Now, like I said, I like a chunky salsa, and this is chunky. As you can see, that's what it looks like. Camera focus. All right. There's nothing better than fresh salsa. I am not going to need those other tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and pulsate this about 3 more times. And I think that's it. And we'll show you guys the end result of the salsa. Alright guys, so there you go. Nothing better than some homemade salsa. You can do all this stuff from your garden, minus the limes. Unless you live in Florida or wherever, you can have limes and some good tortilla chips. At that point, guys, that's the Swisher Family Homestead salsa recipe. You can have it for a game. You can have it just for a nighttime snack. It's healthy. As you can tell, it's all natural. No additives, no preservatives. And that's my take. So at this point, bon appetit and eat and be well and God bless. Don't forget, hit the subscribe to like button. We'll see you the next time.